Welcome, 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 welcome. Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. It's KAS the Bestie here, and we're about to do our live today. We are having a big conversation today. We're talking about how we've been manipulated since birth. I have some important information for you guys to know today. So I want you guys to stay tuned. Watch the whole life if you can. Send any likes that you guys can. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram, KAS the Bestie. I do also have YouTube. This recap will be on YouTube. So thank you guys for tuning in with me today. If you guys are interested in showing any love and sending any support to the channel, KAS the Bestie is the Cash App right there. Welcome guys. I did my hair today. How y'all feeling it? Because I'm feeling really good. It looks really good to me. All right. Yeah, I'm just rubbing my lotion. But yeah, we're going to get started soon. But I want to just wait for a few minutes. Everybody get situated. Big topic today. I got a lot of information for you guys. I did a lot of research for you guys. So I want you guys to be able to get the full extent of the things that are being said. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's your girl KAS the Bestie. Like up this live, like it up. Send it to your friends. Get people interested, because we got a lot to talk about how they've been lying to us all of this time. So let's tune in. Thank you guys for joining. Hey. Welcome. All right. So we're going to be talking today how we've been lied to since birth. So I just want to let you guys know, it seems far-fetched to say we've been manipulated since birth, but we have. We've been manipulated in so many ways. They put it right in front of our faces, and they don't want us to understand that what's done in the dark comes to the light. So that's why they do everything in the light, because they know that if they were to put it in the dark, it'd be that much worse for them to let it come out on its own. So let's talk about it. Right now we have our first point: cultural conditioning. So we're born into pre-existing belief systems about success, love, gender roles, religion, and more. There's things like that are keeping us stuck in situations. There's families people are born into where they are told that they cannot even be with another person unless it's somebody from their religion. There's people who are born into families who say they cannot even leave their house and go live their own life unless it has something to do with their parents. There's people who are living their lives based off of the people who came here before them, the people who lived their whole lives, and then now wants you to live your life for them. Another thing that keeps us stuck and manipulated would be the norms and taboos. Now, norms and taboos are things that teach us what's acceptable, and it often limits self-expression. So a lot of things that we are taught, those are things that are just normal. Society takes people being crazy and weird as something out of the ordinary. Most people are crazy and weird. If you haven't looked to the left and to the right, most people around us are crazy and weird. And we have to embrace that, because it's more of our individuality. It's our authenticity. It's not something that we should be ashamed of. We should actually embrace these things and make them no longer a taboo. We make them normal. Now, let's keep the things that are really taboo in the taboo section. Yes, I'm not talking about those, but anything that is a part of your personality that should be shining, that you feel like you have to keep hidden, those things are what needs to be normal now. So we do have an example that they have is boys are told that they don't cry and girls are told to be quiet or to be nice. It's shaping emotional oppression and people pleasing. It's causing people to feel like they need to be a certain way in order for them to be accepted from somebody else. And you guys don't have to be accepted by anybody. You only need to be accepted by yourself and God or the universe or whoever you believe in. That's where you need to be accepted from. I believe in God, so I believe in God and I believe in the universe. I believe we all coexist in one. So we're all connected. There's nothing that's separate. And that's what they want us to believe. They want us to believe that me and you are different. They want us to believe that me and the next person in another country are different. When we're not. We're all humans on this earth, and we all have the same lives, that we have to get through the same lessons. It's just we take different directions to get there. We're born into different situations. We're set up differently. Another thing that causes us to stay in the manipulation would be educational systems. See, schools often prioritize obedience, conformity, and memorization over curiosity and creativity. That's showing you that they're telling you this is exactly how you need to learn. If you don't learn this way, then you have a learning disability. You see, I don't learn that way. I'm actually a person who I need to actually do something. I need to write it down. I need to read it, take it in myself in order for me to learn. Not everybody learns that way. Some people are more visual. Some people, they need to touch it, feel it. Some people, they need to actually get somebody to talk them through it. See, not everybody learns the same. And they want us to all be conformed to the same thought process. They want us to all think that we need to learn the same way and be the same way. See, you know what I notice about children who have autism is, and my daughter, she has autism, so I see these things firsthand. Children who have autism, they really have a high emotional intelligence because they are not easily manipulated. They are not easily convinced that they need to do something else, or they're not convinced of anything. They'll literally do what they need to do. And I feel like that's actually something that has been birthed into our existence so that we can evolve as people, so that we can understand that there are different ways to think. There's different ways to be. We don't have to just be one way. We don't have to just react the same way that other people are reacting. We don't have to act the same people who are in our demographic. We don't have to act the same way as the people who are born into their families. We don't have to act any way besides the way that we want to personally. We're taught what to think and not how to think. They're teaching us things that we should think is correct instead of giving us the opportunity to form an opinion on our own. We have so much access to technology these days, and because we've learned so much throughout our lifetimes, we feel like the things that we've learned are correct. We feel like the things that we've learned do not need to be fixed, or they shouldn't evolve, or they shouldn't grow. But just because things are put in place doesn't mean that they're not meant to change, because there's so many civilizations that either died out or they're still here and they're trying to progress forward, and they had to progress in another way by evolving. We cannot stay the same and change as a whole. We have to all change together in order for this to work. See, they want us to all be stuck in the matrix when we need to really get out. There's a lot of things that are keeping us trapped, so keep on watching so that we can continue to figure it out together. So another thing they're not teaching people is critical thinking, emotional intelligence, and spiritual awareness. They rarely central that in traditional curriculum. So in school, they're more basing it off of how much work you can do in a certain amount of time. They're basing it on how much information that you can repeat and write over in a certain amount of time. They're not thinking about, well, can this person actually work through a problem by themselves? Can this person think of another way to do something? Does this person get frustrated just by doing math problems? Does this person get frustrated just by being in a room with other people? They're not thinking these things. So they're making people learn based off of the norms that they were forced to grow into. And I want to also speak on the fact that I didn't see that they were actually talking about bringing corporal punishment back. So when you're in school, you get whooped. And I noticed that there was a portion of time where they stopped whipping kids, and the kids who did not get whipped in school, they have very, very wide understanding for different concepts of things, and they're not conformed into a small box. Their brains actually think differently than other people's because they were not whooped. People who were not whooped as much as other people, they tend to think more critically, and they have wider thinking. They have wider thinking because they were not forced to conform to how their parents or how the people who were teaching them were telling them to be. So that's one thing I noticed. That's why they're trying to bring it back, because they want people to be more conformed again. They said, whoa, we've seen what happens when people stop getting whooped. We got to start whooping people again. So that's another food for thought for you guys. So right now we're on a journey for personal sovereignty. So a personal sovereignty is full control over your own life decisions, bodily, mind, and essentially your own autonomy and freedom outside of control or coercion. So another thing that keeps us stuck inside of manipulation would be our media and our advertising. From early childhood, we're bombarded with images that tell us how to look and what we want and how we want to be. We're told that we should be doctors, we should be firefighters, we should be nurses. But what happened to all the thoughts of when we were younger? We had our imaginations. There was people who were out there who wanted to be superheroes. There are superheroes that exist in our every single day life. There are superheroes that exist just because of the work that they do out of the kindness out of their heart. For somebody to be a superhero back then, I remember when I was a kid, they said, who is your superhero in your life? When I was a kid, I used to be like, my parents are my superhero. And see, the thing is, they want us to have this conception that that is not real. But being a superhero is not based off of somebody having extreme powers. It's based off of your own good intentions that you do for other people. So the marketing that they tap into insecurity and scarcity and creating constant dissatisfaction so that we can keep consuming. So pretty much we're never happy with the things we have. After Christmas time, we spend all our money on Christmas gifts. We get our families everything. We're back together. And then after that, we disperse. We wait until tax time. People get their taxes back and they wait so that they can spend that bag again. They keep putting us in the position so that we need more stuff. We need to do this. We need to do that because they make us feel like we cannot have happiness within our own life without the things that they're putting inside of society. So they make us feel like if we don't have a car, that we're not going to be happy. They make us feel like if we don't have the nicest bag, if we don't have the nicest clothes, that we're not going to be happy. And it's really not about that. They just want us to be trapped in the mindset that is the truth. They want us to be like, I got the best drip on today, and the person next to me, they're broke. So I'm going to keep on working hard so that the next person next to me, I'm going to keep shitting on them while they're broke. But really, both broke. So it's like, we have to make sure that we're not keeping ourselves stuck to the thoughts that they want us to have in our head, because they're trying to keep us poor forever. They want us to live in that scarcity mindset. They want us to live in poverty. They want us to be in battle with each other. Another thing is, they're told that we're not enough unless we have this, unless we do this, unless we wear this. And the core message behind that is Sometimes I can't even read my own handwriting. But anyways, all right, the core message behind that is that you guys don't have to be according to society standards. There's people who look at you and be like, wow, this person doesn't have this, so I'm going to look down upon them. Okay. But the people who we look down upon, those tend to be the best people. Those tend to be the people who should be in our lives. Those tend to be the people who we want to make sure that we have close to us, that we're building villages with. We come into this earth, we're putting in this earth with our handlers, the people we're born into their family so that they can take care of us. But the people who actually show us how to live life, those are our family. The people who show us the love and the respect that we need, those are our family. Family is something that doesn't come just automatic. It's something that's built. And maybe some people you have in your family are real family, but you don't have to be conformed. Just because somebody has a title from birth does not mean that they are the person that's supposed to be in your life. They will show you either that the reason why you should have them in your life or the reason why you shouldn't. They'll show you what to do or what not to do. Other things that are keeping us stuck would be economic systems. So most societies conditioned us to measure our worth by productivity or status. So if you don't have 10 degrees, you feel like you're not doing nothing with your life. If you're not working every single day and you're not working to the bone and you're not tired every day, you feel like you're not doing anything. You feel like you're not successful. You feel like in your own right that you do not deserve to have the life that you want. You don't deserve happiness, but you do deserve happiness. You deserve happiness with anything that you get in life, because that is what God allowed to you. That is what God put inside of you. God gave you the right. That is your birthright to be happy. And the fact that they're trying to make it so that you're not happy is opposing God's will. So they're out here opposing God's will and they're trying to force that upon you. Most societies, we're taught to pursue careers for stability or prestige, not for purpose or passion. So they want people out here becoming nurses because they're going to make $1 million, or they got people out here becoming doctors because they're going to make this much money. They're out there going to war because they're going to make this much money. Everything people do is for stability. Everything that people do is so that they can have more than the next person's, versus so that they can be happy. You know how many times people give up the fact of them being happy just so that they can have money? that is a version of selling your soul. They're trying to have us selling our soul unintentionally for the things that we need in life, even though that these are the things that we were allowed in our birthrights. Many get trapped in the rat race, disconnected from soul fulfillment. So they will have you running around in a circle every single day, constantly in a cycle, doing the same thing every day, unhappy. But eventually you get used to it and you just continue to conform. But then until one day somebody comes and tells you, hey, you know you don't have to do that. Hey, you know you don't have to go to that job you don't like to go to. Hey, you know you don't have to talk to those friends you don't like talking to. Hey, you know you don't have to speak to those family members that you don't click with. See, when you start understanding that you have a choice in life, that is when you start moving with more intent, and you start moving and you start living your life in the way that you want to. And other ways that they manipulate us from birth would be religious indoctrine. So religion is a source of profound wisdom. However, corruption causes fear, guilt, or shame to control. So anytime you're in a situation and you're being preached to, or you're being talked to somebody by somebody who is speaking to you about religion, they're speaking to you about God, they're speaking to you about anything that is in the name of the light, and they are trying to cause fear to you, guilt to you, shame to you, to control how you act, that is not a good form of love. That's not sharing love. That's manipulation. People will try to say, oh, you're feeling convicted. No, you're trying to use shame to convict people, and God does not give you the right to convict people in that way. See, people will feel convicted in their own right. You do not have the right to convict anybody. God is the only one who knows people's intentions and knows what's going through people's minds. So do not let people come and make you feel like anything that you're doing is in detriment to them, because anything you're doing is for your journey. You have to go through your own things that you go through so that you can become your best version of yourself. When people try to step in and play God in your life and try to say, hey, God doesn't want you to do this, God doesn't want you to do that, hey, God, they don't know what God wants you to do. God wants you to live in your best intent. So when people try to use religion to manipulate, that keeps us stuck in the same process that we've been in since our birth. Children may grow up spiritually disconnected and a questioning authority. See, back when I was younger, I was actually raised inside of a Jehovah's Witness family. And throughout that time, I actually never felt connected to being a Jehovah's Witness. However, I always felt connected to God. As a teenager, I decided to take the time to go and find my own religion. So I started going to youth groups and things like that. I started going to churches with other people. And I was running into more problems with people in the situation versus then finding my connection with God. So it took me getting to the point where I said, I have to take this into my own hands. I have to be the one who brings my connection with God together, because I understand that what they're trying to do is trying to keep us apart. So for a while, I was like, well, I don't believe in, like, I was not a religious person. I don't consider myself to be religious. I consider myself to be spiritual, because I have my own religion. I have my own relationship with God. I look to God directly. I speak to God directly. I don't go to anybody and I don't say, hey, can you help me with this? No. I go to God every single time, because God will get it done every single time. But if you are grown up into a family where they try to force these things on you, it makes you feel like you have no rights to your own body. It makes you feel like you have no rights to yourself. You feel like you have no power. So making sure that you're not using religion to condemn people and make people feel self-conscious about themselves is very important, because then you are manipulating them, or somebody is manipulating you into staying disconnected from your birthright, which is to be connected with God. Another way that they keep us connected from birth would be family and ancestral patterns. See, a lot of families pass down different beliefs and traumas and fears and unhealed wounds unconsciously, just so that they can make sure that this passes down. And sometimes it's unintentionally. Sometimes we're passing on trauma that we don't understand as trauma. Sometimes we were just raised this way and we don't know any other way. But these just show the hidden manipulation and suppression of individualities that is passed on through families and lifetimes. They want you to act a certain way so that it fits the image of your family. They want you to be a certain way so that you do not embarrass your family. That does not matter, because who you are is who you are. Whatever your family decides to do, that is on them. You see, you have your whole life to live. They have their whole life to live. Anybody who births you, you only owe them the respect of listening to them. You do not owe them anything besides respect because they gave you life. However, respect is also given when respect is also received. So it needs to be balanced. You need to make sure that you're having these boundaries with people. You're not letting people take control of your life. You're not letting people feel like they have the access to you that they don't truly have. Another way they keep us manipulated from birth would be suppression of our inner knowing. See, many are taught to dismiss their intuition, their emotions, their bodily wisdom. We're conditioned to seek external validation rather than trust our inner truth. We go to other people just to see if our feelings are valid, to see if we're in the right about a situation when we know deep down inside how we feel. We know exactly how we feel, but we want to make sure, according to society, is that right? According to the friendship, is that right to do? According to your family, is that right to do? That's what they want us to do, but it's not correct. See, we're conditioned, and this creates disempowerment, and it creates dependence on an outside system for answers. You have all of the answers right inside of you. God gave you that right. God gave you all of his powers inside of you. See, and it's once you heal and you understand that you can unlock these things, it's when you'll be able to access them. But until then, you will be locked out and you will continue to be manipulated. Once you see something, you cannot unsee it. And if you choose to unsee something that you already see, then that's putting yourself back into the system that you're working so hard to get out of. See, now they also have the medical and pharmaceutical companies trying to influence us. Some critics argue certain health systems prioritize profit over healing, encouraging reliance on medication rather than holistic wellness or prevention. Mental health is often treated chemically without addressing root of emotional or spiritual causes. A lot of times that we're going through things and it's something that's going on with our feelings emotionally. Those are things that are spiritually affecting us. Those are emotions that are affecting us, things that are being suppressed from a long time ago. But instead, they rather say, oh, you have depression, here's some pills. Instead, they want to say you have anxiety, here's some pills. But there's other ways that we can work through these things. We can work through it with light work, with holistic practices, with feeding our bodies better things so that we can actually have the ability to be in control over our own body. We do not have to listen to what anybody else says. We don't have to follow that curriculum of what they want us to do. If we want to heal ourselves from inside out, we have to understand that we have to be in control. We have to be the ones who are calling the shots from now on because this is your life. If we're in life and we're just letting people control the shots that we have going on, we're just being reactive. We're only reacting to the things that people are bringing to us now. We're going to start bringing things to people's front door. We're going to start telling people, hey, this is exactly how it is. And if it's not how I want it to be in my life, this is my domain, then you need to be gone. You need to leave. You will be cast away. I'm sorry. Because sometimes people just don't align. And that's not a fault of anybody else. It's not because you're a bad person or they're a bad person. Sometimes in this point in time, we are not aligned. You might be on a path where you're trying to go this way, and they might be on a path where they might be wanting to go this way. But it doesn't mean that you guys are either one person's bad or the other person's bad. It's some things can be both true at the same time. So the fact that some things that they have been teaching us since birth could be true, but they are also manipulating in another sense is also true. Two things can be true at once. So another thing they use is fear-based control. So they use institutions and media frequently to cause fear and influence on our choices, whether it's security, health, or politics. They have us out here feeling like we need to have guns in our homes because people are going to break in. Well, that's because they're putting that energy out into the universe for it to happen. They want people to feel this way so that they feel like they have something to defend themselves against. But the people who are defending themselves against these things are people who are being manipulated into these actions. These actions are not just actions people are forming on themselves. It's spiritual warfare. When it comes to health and politics, they scare people by saying, hey, if you do this, you're going to get this disease. If you do this, you're going to get this disease. Whole time, the food that they're giving us is giving us diseases. The food and the air, the pollution that we have going on is giving us these diseases. So they're telling us oh, if you eat this or if you don't do this, you're going to be unhealthy. But they're making us unhealthy anyway. When it comes to politics, they're saying, oh, we have so many immigrants in this country, it's taking away from the people. But they're taking away from us too. They're the ones who are taking away from the people who are here, so that the people that are here are mad at the people who are coming here trying to get something for themselves. There's people who are running away from lives where they did not have what we have here. We need to understand that we are blessed here. We are blessed to live here, because there's a lot of people who are over there fighting for their lives. There's people over there who are unable to be safe. We have a good amount of free will here, and we need to use that to help the rest of the people who do not. There's people out here who do not have free will because they're being controlled, and that's not just by words. They're being controlled physically. There's people who are being controlled physically, people being controlled mentally, and they're being controlled by fear. They're being controlled by the fear of being murdered. They're being controlled by the fear of being poor. They're being controlled by fear, period. Fear weakens personal power, and it makes people more susceptible to manipulation. So if they can make you afraid enough of the things that you want for yourself, then they'll be able to bring you down low enough into their vibration where their manipulation tactics will work. Because manipulation only works when you're on the same frequency as somebody. If you're on a higher frequency than somebody and they're trying to manipulate you, they're just going to look stupid. They're just going to look dumb. They're just going to look like they are not intelligent, because they don't understand that you see them from a different perspective. But if you're on the same frequency as them, if you're on the same vibe, you're in the same zone, you're looking at them if you're watching TV and you're inside of the TV, you're in the scene instead of watching the scene. So manipulation only works when people can bring you down to a lower vibration. I have a video on YouTube that talks about how you can raise your vibration so that people can no longer lower your vibration, so you can be in your highest vibration. Nobody can bring you down, because nobody can stop you from manifesting your future, because that's what they all want you to do. They want you to stop feeling like you have the ability to be at the level that you know that you can be. Another thing would be, actually, that was the last step. I'm so sorry. All right, so my next point would be, we would have to take awareness to deprogram ourselves. So this is how we get started. So once you begin to question inherited beliefs and reconnect to your inner voice and live from alignment, you step into your power. Inner work, shadow work, inner child healing, and trauma release are ways that you can work on gaining your power back. Once you feel like that trauma is no longer holding you back, you'll be able to be like, hey, I'll say this anytime. There's no reason for you not to say it. It's like when you're from birth, you're programmed to be a certain way. But deep inside of you, you always knew that there was something that you wanted to be. There was something that you wanted to say. There was something you wanted to feel. But you never felt comfortable to say it because you never felt like you were in the position. You never felt like this was your place. But I'm telling you here today that this is your place. You need to have conscious consumption of media and also info as well. So when we have that, we can make sure that we're controlling our spiritual immune system. We're stopping things that are meant to toxify us and making it so that we're not continuing to be toxified. We're making it so that it's no longer continuing to be able to lower our vibrations. Another thing would be, make sure you keep sovereignty over your beliefs, your body, and your energy. Because when you have sovereignty over yourself, that means nobody can ever change your mind. You need to make sure that you have firm beliefs. You need to make sure that when you stand on something, you're standing on it. Because if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. Yes, baby. No. You
Look, it didn't.
Oh, you put your makeup on? Okay, baby.
Wait.
But no, you can't go in the video right now.
Whoa!
Stop.
I can't.
Can you go back and watch your show, please? Thank you, baby. I'll be out in a second.
Okay.
All right, babe. And then the next thing would be spiritual practices to remind you who you are. So when you keep in contact with your spiritual practices, that is strengthening your immune system. You're strengthening your spiritual immune system so that you can continue to fight off of the attempts for people to lower your vibration, to bring you down to their levels. Now, let's get into why they've been manipulating us. Well, why they've been manipulating us? control, and order. A predictable, compliant population is easier to govern. So when people follow societal norms, rules without questioning, large systems of government, schools, economies functions with less resistance. And that just is to say, they're saying that if you don't ask no questions, it's not going to be a problem. So let's just make them feel like they have as much information as they can, and they won't ever ask us nothing. But we should be asking these questions. We should be asking these politicians, hey, what do you know about this? We should be telling these people, we have this going on in our community. What are you going to do about it? But the fact that we sit back and we let them take control and we let them handle things how they handle it is us being in this manipulation. It's continuing to keep us in manipulation that we've been subjected to from birth. Conditioning ensures people stay within expected boundaries of behavior and belief. So they're saying that if they can condition you to act a certain way, then you will not act out. That is the same way as if you're in a relationship with somebody and they say, well, if I do this enough to you, then you'll eventually just deal with it. You'll eventually just be happy with it. That's how they condition us. They condition us to accept pain. They condition us to accept the things that we don't want to accept. And they call it the way of life. But no, that's their way of life. That's the way they want us to live so that we can continue to be controlled by them. Because they feel like in an obedient population is easier to manage than an awakened one. So if we continue to awaken, they're going to continue to have to double down on us and try to find other ways to keep us asleep. Another way that they're trying to keep us manipulated is economic exploitation. So from a young age, we're all conditioned to consume, conform, and compete. These systems train us to work hard, spend more, and never feel enough. Fueling economic growth, a distracted, insecure society is more profitable. Beauty is bringing self-doubt. Pharmaceuticals is bringing stress and disconnection. The tech field and media are bringing addiction and stimulation. So they want us to feel like we're not beautiful enough, so they put out more beauty products to make people pack their face. They want us to feel like we're not healthy enough, so they put us in more situations where we're in stress and we're disconnected from our spiritual side. They want us to feel like, oh, we have all of this tech and media to our advantage, but it's really causing us addiction and stimulation, overstimulation. It's causing us the things that we're trying to actually avoid. And it keeps it all in a circle so that we can keep coming back, so that we can continue to consume, conform to what they want, and compete to get it again. Another thing they say is that keep people chasing external fulfillment, and they won't ever question a deeper system. So if people are trying to find happiness in things like that they can purchase, like a bag or a car, if you're trying to find happiness in this, you'll never understand that you got the happiness within yourself and that there's a problem with the stuff that's going on out there. We just accept it. But if we stop accepting it, we will no longer be subjected to the manipulation that they're trying to keep us in since we've been a kid, since we've been born. Another thing is they're trying to suppress our individual power. See, people are connected to their inner truth, intuition, and purpose. When they are connected, they're harder to control. See, an awakening leads to authenticity, sovereignty, and resistance to manipulation. It's literally the fact of, if you see something, you can't unsee it. Like, if somebody just goes into your room and takes something out of your room and walks past you with it, you're going to see that. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You know that they're a thief. So they want us to not feel like they're thieves, even though we see it with our own two eyes. They try to soften the blow by giving us things like giving us stimulus checks and giving us the dollar stores. They're giving us these things that we can use, but really they want us to feel like, hey, you guys got it, but really we don't. We don't. But we do. Now that we know, now that we're aware that they're doing this to us, then we can stop the manipulation, because you can only be manipulated if you're unaware. See, systems often suppress us through educational conformity, media distractions, religious dogma in some cases, because sometimes when people use religion, they use it so that it can keep people in a small box. They use it so it can keep people suppressed, so that they don't feel like they have power to fight through situations by themselves. Some instances, not all instances. And then they also use fear-based conditioning. If you forget how powerful you are, you will give your power away. See, a lot of us give our powers away to other people. Like when we're in relationships, I know when I was growing up, I always looked at men as, oh, men are so strong. Men are so, they're the providers. They're the ones they're the protectors. And as a young woman growing up, I always looked towards people who were in a position that felt like they wanted to be in power and control. And I was like, hey, yeah, I'll let you take the lead until you let people take the lead over your life and it brings you to nowhere. It brings you to an abyss. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining control over yourself and understanding, hey, if this goes against my morals, my values, my dignity, then I cannot go towards it. I have to get it out. Another way that they use manipulation, and that the reason why they're using it, is for cultural generational inheritance. See, a lot of manipulation isn't just deliberate, it's also passed down by well-meaning families, teachers, communities who are also conditioned. This is just how things becomes a prison of inherited beliefs. The system runs itself through unconscious repetition until someone wakes up. People often pass down chains they don't even know they're wearing. And that's just the biggest example for this would be slavery. So during slavery, the white civilization, they were taught not to like black people. And racism persisted up until, racism is still going on to this day, but it's not as much as it used to be. But the racism that went on back then was passed on through families. So they send racism through families so that it can continue to stop other people's families going further. They use these things to keep people trapped. They want people to feel like they're against each other. They want us to feel like, oh, white people against black people. They want us to feel like Spanish people versus black people. They want us to feel like Chinese people versus black people, white people versus Chinese people. They want us to feel all these things. It's none of that. We're all working here together. We all want to have sovereignty over ourselves, right? We all want to have free will. We want to be able to live on the earth and have the advantages that God gave us, right? But yet we're using the things that they're putting onto us, the things that they're teaching us from a young age, to also fight against the same people who are trying to get out of the system that we're trying to get out of. Another reason why they're trying to manipulate us is social engineering. See, some manipulation is strategic. They think propaganda and psychological operations or mass surveillance. They use these things, media, advertising, and politics, so they can shape people's public opinion, identity, and behavior on a scale. So they want people to say, oh, well, because I'm this race, I'm going to act like this, and I stand for this. Or if I'm a part of this race, I'm going to stand for this, and I'm going to do this. They want to manufacture division. Us versus them. It keeps us distracted and divided so that we don't unite against common systems of control. When they divide, they distract and dominate. Let's hear that again. When they divide, they distract so they can dominate. Another reason why they manipulate us is so that we can have spiritual amnesia. So spiritual amnesia on a deeper level, many spiritual traditions suggest that we are beings of light and consciousness who have forgotten who we are. The matrix of conditioning keeps us asleep, so our soul's truth will never be found. The manipulation is not just social, it's energetic, but every system that seeks to dim your light, it also offers you the opportunity to remember it. So every single time you're kicked down and you get back up, it gives you the power to fight back again. It gives you the recognition. It gives you the remembrance of the light that you actually came from. It gives you the remembrance of your purpose of being here. You need to go through these things sometimes so that you can remember how you got here. It took me a lot of spiritual warfare for me to understand who I am. It took me a lot of relationships with different people who were trying to keep me dimmed down for me to understand who I really was as a person. To understand that the power that I have within myself is not too much. The power that I have within myself is not a masculine trait. It's not unfeminine. No. You need to have balance between your masculine and feminine energy. And I also have a live here on YouTube that you can go back and look at. And it tells you how to balance your masculine and feminine energy. It's very important because they want us to be all in one or all in the other so that we don't have strength. Because you have to be whole to have strength. The manipulation is not just social. The manipulation only works if you don't remember you were born free. So if you feel like regardless of how you were born, that you still have to live by the standards that you were born into. So you have to have that religion that your family has, or you have to go into that job that your family members did, or you have to hang out with the same race of people that your family hangs out with. Then you will continue to be manipulated. You will continue to be held back. And we're back. Sorry for the brief intermission. All right, so now we're on to what we can do so that we can stop being manipulated. So we need to recognize what it looks like. So here are the tools that they use so that they can keep us stuck. The tools they use are government assistance. See, government assistance creates dependency, discourages self-reliance, and it locks you into, it's to discourage self-reliance. That's right there. And I'm going to let you know, me personally, I've been on government assistance. I'm getting off of government assistance now. And that's because I understand that government assistance just keeps you trapped. They call you every single month. They want to know how much money you make. They want to know who's in your house. They want to know what you're doing. You have no freedom when you're on government assistance. They keep you trapped when you're on government assistance. They want you to continue being on government assistance so that they can keep creating this dependency for you, so that you feel like you need the government. They want to keep continuing keeping you discouraged in self-reliance. They want you to feel like you can't build a business because you don't have the time or you don't have the money. They want you to continue going and getting debts, having credit cards, having loans, because it locks you into a wage slavery, stress, and distraction. They want you to work a 9-to-5 and grind with no exit plan because they want us to surpass our creativity and self-directed purpose. They don't want us to feel like we have a reason that we're here on earth. They want us to feel like our reason on earth is to just be here to work for them. And hi, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for joining the live. I wanna pronounce your name right, Joanna. I'm not gonna lie. Tell me if I've said this wrong. I need you to pronounce it for me because I really want to say it right. I'm so sorry. It's Janae? Okay, I love it. Hey, Bookie, how you doing? So we're just talking right now about how they're keeping us manipulated. And also, so the next step we're going to go through would be junk food, media, and pharmacy. So they're using junk food, media, and the pharma industry to disrupt our energy, our intuition. They're using it so that it can stop us from having critical thinking skills. They're using education system to train obedience and not innovation and sovereignty. They want us to be stuck inside of a box. They want us to not feel like we have the ability to keep ourselves in a way that we can keep flourishing with our own rights, not with something that they gave us. They want us to feel like if they didn't give it to us, that we cannot flourish. They want to use fear-based news cycles. They keep you reactive and not visionary. So they want you to feel like everybody is attacking you. They want you to feel like everything you do in life is to keep yourself afloat from people attacking you. When really, no, we're making these steps. We're now putting our feet on the gas, and we're going to be the ones who are going to be putting the actions in. We're no longer living in reaction to how people are putting our lives and making our lives appear. We're the ones doing the action. We're doing the picking, okay? That's the tea for me. We're doing the picking now. Nobody's going to be controlling us. Nobody's going to keep us in a spot where we're no longer going to have the access to the power that we have within ourselves. We're going to keep going. We're not going to stop for them. They want us to be stuck on consumerism, which is going to make you feel like you're in lack. They want us to constantly chase more. They want us to constantly feel like we don't have. They want us to feel like, oh, we always need a bigger house, or we need a better car. We need to be having better outfits. And they want us to feel like we just don't have as much as the next person. Do you know that you can have the same amount as somebody else, and they could be happier than you just because they're happy with what they got and you're not? That is just the difference. So be happy with what you got, because there's a lot of people out here who don't have much, and they're just making sure that they're blessed. They know that they're blessed from God, and they know that God will make a way for them. They're keeping them straight. He's giving him the strength to keep going every single day. So remind yourself that you're never alone, and that the manipulation tactics that they're using are not going to keep you down. They're only going to be a stepping stool. So yeah, they think that they're going to keep using these things like government assistance, credit card loans, 9-to-5s, and junk food and education system to keep us down. But no, we're going to use these things as stepping stools. we're going to use these things to get to our next point. So where I say, the next thing we would have to do is use empowering actions. We're going to reduce or replace government dependency. We're going to use it as a bridge and not a lifestyle. We're going to begin building skills for independence and growing food, trades, and entrepreneurships within ourselves so that we can actually build something for ourselves and not have to rely on the government to keep us afloat, so that we don't have to keep going back to these points in times where now we feel like we don't have, or we feel like we need to do all of this extra hard work. We can't be with our kids. We can't spend time with our families because we need to do all of this hard work in order just to stay afloat. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're working smarter. We're not working harder. So if they want to be used, yeah, we're going to use them, but for a stepping stool so that we can be better than what they think that they're going to keep us in. They're not going to keep us in these positions. We're going to rise above them. We're going to create and we're going to join mutual circles. We're going to join private co-ops outside of the government reach. See, when you join things that have nothing to do with the government, then you'll be able to have support. Like, you could join churches. There's churches that actually will go out there and help you guys. And it's not even a way, like, some people are not religious, some people are not spiritual, and I will never push that on anybody. But I 100% say that the only reason that I am where I am right now in life is because I had the faith of God. Because God was the one who kept me going when I had nobody, when I was at my lowest points, when I felt suicidal, when I felt like I was having mental anguish. It was me praying to God and me understanding that God is going to make a way, and that period of time was not going to last. It was not going to stay that way. So when you make sure that you have your reason, your purpose for life and your belief systems, you will be able to stay afloat. But it's very, very, very hard to stay afloat when you do not have anything to believe in, because you know when they say, if you do not stand for something, you will fall for anything. So if you want to stand for something, you need to find what you are standing for, and you stand on it, and you don't let anybody take you out of that. Right now, we're going on our process. We're going to reclaim our minds. We're going to fast from media that drains us. Then we're going to stop watching mainstream news and doom scrolling on TikTok, watching stupid things that are not actually keeping us smart, keeping us in the know. You know, you can watch TikTok. You can watch YouTube Reels. You can watch YouTube all the time. Do you know how much information we are getting for free on these services? We're getting so much free stuff. And they don't want us to recognize that we do have all this free stuff at our hands. We have ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a beautiful source. ChatGPT is great for research purposes. It's great if you want to find information about yourself, about things that you don't know too much about. You want to make sure that you're questioning these things. If you really don't want to question a person, question ChatGPT. We're going to start a practice of discernment. Is this my truth, or is this my programming? We're going to figure out, is this something that I really believe, or is this something that was put into me from when I was born? Is this do I feel like this because when I was a kid, or is this something that I grew up and I said, yeah, this is true. I feel this in my heart, like in my soul. This is what I need to be. This is where I need to be doing. And then we also need to fill our minds with books. We need to fill our minds with books, voices, and ideas that empower sovereignty. See, we need to stop going towards things that are more low vibrational, because, you know, sometimes it'll be like it's so easy to just be low vibrational, because being toxic is low-key fun to people. But when you realize that when you're continuing to go into that toxicity, that it's actually keeping you low enough in a vibration so that not only that the people in your life can manipulate you, but the government and anybody else who wants to manipulate you can, because you feel like you do not need to take power over your own self. You feel like you can just play the back. Never play the back to your life. You need to be the one making the actions. Like I said before, we're doing the pickings now. So unplug from systems gently. Now, it's very difficult for us to go from working on a 9-to-5 and being on government assistance to just not. But now that we have the awareness that these things are meant to hold us back, now we can use these things to grow our own vision. So if we want to have healthy lifestyle, we want to have good fruits and good vegetables, we can start growing our own food. Even if it means growing herbs on your windowsill, we can learn how to make our own cleaners, herbal medicine, and food from scratch. We can transition our lives so that we can continue and be the best versions of ourselves, but we have to make sure we unplug from what they're trying to put onto us. We can stop using banks and corporations and go start using local services and barter networks. You know, back when we were, well, before I was alive, they used to have a system where Black people actually had their own bank system. They had their own town. They had their own Wall Street. And these things were brought down. These things are not impossible to have. We can have our own systems, but we have to make sure that we understand that we are in control of them. Unless we want to be controlled, we have to take control of what we want. So we're going to continue to fight, and we're going to continue to grow our mindsets and build our thought processes so that we can understand how together we can build these systems, because no, we can't do it alone. It's not always something that one person can do. If one person can do that thing and one person got way too much power, things are meant to be built together so that we can build it together so that it can work perfect for our infrastructure together. And I'm not talking just for one race of people. It could be for all of us so that we can all benefit and flourish together. And then another thing would be to build your exit ramp. Build your escape plan. Learn income streams that are skill-based or mobile. For example, things that you can teach people, like coaching or trades, or you can learn homesteading or doing crafts. Learn things that you can learn. Bye, John Nene. I'll see you later. Thank you for joining. So, yeah, we can learn things that are not things that we have to go work for other people to do. We give ourselves skills. You know, I was actually telling one of my old co-workers the other day, we used to work at this pizza place, and she was there, and she's such a great cleaner. Like, that girl, she used to put her back into cleaning. And I'm like, you know, all these times that you're putting this time into cleaning somebody's house, cleaning this place, you could literally start your own cleaning business. You're really that good that you could start your own cleaning business. So then now you can start pocketing all that money for yourself. You don't have to go to the middleman. You don't have to start giving people money so that you can even just work a job that you don't even want to work. You don't have to worry about the people who are trying to keep you from being with your families. You don't have to try to force yourself into a situation that doesn't work. You can stay in flow with what actually works with you. So that's another food for thought for you. So make sure you're building your crafts, building your skills. There's things that you do on an everyday basis that might be your... Thank you. Sorry about the brief interruption. So, yes, we're going to start building a community with others who have the same exact goals as us. We want to have intentional living. We maybe even living off-grid, maybe even living in PMAs. Invest in tools that are not toys, things that can increase your self-sufficiency. So we're putting money into things like tools and not cars, things that we can help build ourselves something for ourselves instead of having to go and buy it from another person, or something we can build something so we can sell it so that it can help us buy something so that it can continue to put the money in our pockets so that we can continue to flourish. And I wanted to tell you guys about what a PMA is. So a PMA is a private membership association. It's actually a powerful legal structure that allows individuals and groups to operate outside of many public regulations as long as it follows a specific legal principle. So contracts based between consenting members and they're protected under the First and the 14th Amendment. And it only serves its members. In these PMAs, they tend to have holistic health practices, intentional communities, private education, faith-based organizations, alternative commerce or food co-ops, or private spiritual coaching. You see, and these things are like similar to, like, for example, they have those nursing homes that only allow Jewish people to be there. That is kind of an example of a PMA, because that is a private organization. It's a binding contract between them, and it's also based on their own beliefs. So lastly but not least, we need to return to our sovereign rhythm. We need to wake up and go to sleep by our own rhythm, not by alarms, not by deadlines, not by things we have to do. We need to go based off how we want to live our life. We need to align with our natural cycles, our sun, our moon, our seasons. We need to meditate. We need to journal, pray, practice stillness daily. That's where the programming unveils, because when you have too much time to think, that's when you have too much time to decipher what is right and what is wrong. That's when you have time to unravel what's fake and what's real, what's the truth and what is not. So what we're trying to take out is, like, eating fast food. We're going to take eating fast food out, and we're going to switch that for cooking a clean meal once a day at least. And then another thing we could do, instead of watching TV after work, we can read or build a dream plan, or Instead of saying, I can't afford it, we can say, how can I create it? Instead of waiting for permission for something, we can take aligned and perfect action. Nothing has to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. And things that you do are only going to happen because you get started. So don't be afraid to make any action, because all the actions that you take for your highest good are going to benefit you. We're not going to continue numbing ourselves with entertainment. We're going to sit in our truth and our silence. We're going to be comfortable with who we are, the good, the bad, and all the ins and the outs. The last thing, but not least, is we're gonna take we need to understand that recognition is not the end. It's the beginning of your rebirth. And once you see the program, you are no longer a part of that program. From the moment, every small sovereign act becomes a revolution. So pretty much, as soon as you realize what's going on, since we've been on this live, we've understood that they're trying to manipulate us and keep us stuck inside of a box. They don't want us to flourish. They don't want us to have businesses. They don't want us to be able to take care of our families. They don't want us to be able to take care of our kids. They don't want these things for us. We have to want it for ourselves. And once we change what's going on in our lives, now that we realize that they're trying to keep us stuck, then that's when it becomes a revolution. That's when change comes. That's when you can understand what the next best move is. You need to be aware in order for you to make a change. If you don't have that polar opposite to what's going on, then you'll never know that there's something wrong. And I'm here to tell you guys today that we do have something wrong in our society. They're trying to keep us stuck in a system where we are unhappy, and they want to keep us unhappy. So we're going to choose today to continue to take steps and actions so that we can further ourselves and get to our highest versions of ourselves. See, I am a life coach. I'm a spiritual counselor. And I want you guys to understand that within yourself, you have the power that one God gave you, the universe gave you, and most importantly, you gave you. You have the power to change your mind at any time and do something new. You do not have to continue living that life. You do not have to go and get 50 degrees in order for you to feel like you are a person. You are a person regardless of if anybody gives you that recognition, if anybody gives you that love. You are to be respected regardless if you have $1 million in your bank account or if you have $100. If you got 1 cent in your bank account, people still owe you that respect. So if they're not going to give you that respect, then you need to cut them out. Thank you guys so much for listening to all of that. I appreciate you guys tuning in today so you guys can understand what they've been doing to us from birth. And I wanted to give you guys a quick energy reading because I did have my cards out for you guys today. All right, so that should be the last interruption for the day, but we all know how it is to have kids, so I'm really not worried about it. And if you guys love kids, thank you. It's my Mookie's a little cutie. All right, so I'm going to do just a little energy check-in before we get out of here. And I'm going to mix up these cards for you guys real quick so I can tap right in for you guys. I like when people comment on the lives. I love it. I love when people also engage. I appreciate it so much. And thank you guys for all the likes, too. I love it. We got 1.2K likes in this. 1.2K likes. They're not seeing us. Come on now. Come on now. All right. What's the energy for today? What's the energy for today? Ooh. We're going to take this one. The energy today. Boss up. Boss up. We're bossing up today. Now, I also got some other cards that I got that I want to do a little energy check-in for you guys. So we're going to use this boss up card as the energy check-in. So that's the energy. And we're going to use these cards to figure out what is going on in any situation you guys got going on today. So what can I get more on this boss up energy? Can I get more on this boss up energy? Can I get more on this? Oh, yes. Okay, it's coming out, it's coming out. Back to these cards. All right, so we got the boss up energy, and we got some more cards coming out, so I'm going to do a little lineup. you know, I do my oracle cards how I do my oracle cards. I don't really care about how anybody else does it because this is how I do it. I actually combined 2 decks with this because I took out all of the love type cards because I'm not doing no love readings right now. But what I am doing is something for the energy that we have and for what we're going towards as a whole, because we're trying to raise the vibrations. And honestly, love is not the most important thing in life. All right. Alright. Okay. I think I'm gonna do 2 more. Okay. Dang, I might have to do more than 2 because this is giving more than 2 more. I'm doing an oracle card reading for you guys right now. So if you guys are just tuning in, thank you guys for tapping in. Right now, the energy reading we got is Boss Up. And I'm just pulling some more cards so that we can get a full picture, full story for you guys. And I'm just going to go based off of my intuitive nudges on what I feel like the energy is coming from this. All right, I think I need to do a wider spread than this is a little long. All right. Give me 1 second, my friends. All right. Because I want everything to be in the correct order, but I also want to have enough space so I can clock this tea for you guys. All right. Okay. All right. I'll do 2 more cards, and I promise you this time. That's too many. Let's try. Oh, that was a lot. Okay, apparently these cards need to be taken. All right. Oh, where did these cards come? Oh, okay. For Yourself came out. I didn't realize that. All right. So with this oracle card reading, we're going to get started right now. So the energy for this reading was Boss Up. And I'm using actually different cards today. I'm using a different 2 combination of cards for you guys. So with this Boss Up energy, what I'm getting is that we actually have not them trying to make me do a goddamn puzzle in the middle of live. This is stupid. Thanks for interrupting my live to make me do a puzzle. But anyway, all right, so with this Boss Up energy that we have, after that we have sunglasses coming up. So with this Boss Up energy, what I'm getting from this is, you know how we're going into our path, we're understanding now that they're manipulating us, they're trying to change the trajectory of our lives and changing the purpose that we have for our lives by keeping us in a manipulated state, keeping us in the matrix. So we're seeing these things. We're keeping a wide perception. We're watching what's going on now. We got our eyes on our prize because we want the paradise that we have coming to us. They're trying to keep us trapped in a situation where we don't have our happiness, our joy, our playfulness. We can't even enjoy other people's companies because they're trying to keep us in a situation where we're mirroring situations. We're mirroring and we're self-reflecting and we're working on our inner wounds, but we're seeing all of these things that they've been using to keep us stuck this whole time. So now we're using that information that we have to make better choices. We're making healthy choices. We're choosing self-love. We're choosing self-care, being happier in a love life. And even if it's not to do with love, we're being happier and loving ourselves. And we're continuing to stay optimistic in any instance, because we know that if we do not stay optimistic, then that will affect our continuance of our experience. We're going to continue to ensure our boundaries to stop anybody from stopping where we need to go. We're understanding that now we need to have strict boundaries. We need to be very assertive with our lives when it comes to things, because they're trying to manipulate us. They're trying to keep us stuck. So we need to be present in our lives. We need to understand that we are the ones who are in control. If we do not make the steps, then the steps will be made for us. And if we do not forgive and release all the things that happened to us in the past, so that we can move forward, we will be stuck. If not, we will ascend. We're gonna ascend. Once you forgive and release, you're on a path to ascension. And after, there will no longer be anybody coming to sabotage. So you have to rebuild again. You're going to continue to put persistent work into it so that you can continue to cut down on these things that are keeping you in separation from your highest purpose. We're going to stop the patterns. We're going to stop being silent with yourself. Stopping the fact that people want you to not be truthful with yourself and not have that love for yourself. We're going to continue to be optimistic. We're going to continue to be optimistic, because when you keep in mind that you create your own reality, you can attract love, and you cannot attract love with a negative mindset. And regardless of love comes from within. So if you love yourself, you need to love yourself enough to know that you need to just stay in positive spirits. Just know that you need to have faith, because it's coming. It's coming. If you see the clock, it's coming. Like, I can't even make it up. Like, it's coming. The time. Needing time. Cycles take time. It takes time to heal. See, everything that we're going through right now, yes, this is the start of the process. It's hard in the beginning. But once you have the recognition and understanding of what's going on, you will not be trapped anymore. So continue to have faith. Continue to check and see what things that you need to evaluate, so that you can get out of these cycles, so that you can heal yourself, so that you can free yourself. Because when you freed yourself, you'll be able to live with more gratitude. You'll be able to live with more patience. And after you live with more gratitude, more patience, after you go through all of this, you bossing up, you're ending up rising like the phoenix. And that is the whole point of this whole thing, is that we have so much power within ourselves that people are keeping trapped and stagnant. And we didn't understand this, but now we do. Now that we know that we have this power, so that we can continue to grow into new phases, to renew and grow and change our minds and rise from the ashes, then we will continue to have this new mindset. We're bossing up. And we're rising like the phoenix. We're not letting people to continue to manipulate us. This energy that they think that they're keeping on us is no longer going to prevail, because now it is over. See, in order for them to manipulate us, they need to have control. They need to feel like they are smarter than us. They need to feel like we don't know anything. So in order for us to be in our power, we need to stick to our guns. We need to stay in our power. I'm going to do one more energy reading before I get out of this. And I'm going to, hold on, let me just, like, what do you mean? It's a shock. It's a shock that patience is key. Ain't it? Ain't it? I almost forgot how I wanted to shuffle the cards for a second. Don't do that, y'all. And I know you guys see my nails. They're really dusty right now, but I'm okay with that. That's okay. That is okay. I will get my nails done. I hurt them, so I had to take them off. See, I don't know if you've never had acrylic nails, then you just don't understand the pain that comes with when you break a nail. The pain of breaking a nail. It kind of feels like abuse. It feels like a painful abuse. Like, I don't know. Like, whenever I break a nail, I always have to walk around and I have to put a Band-Aid on. I got to put a piece of tape. Because I'm not going to sit here and have this thing dangling off my finger like a little dingleberry. No. And be in pain? No, thank you. I don't appreciate that. So I'm going to be out here with my little nubbies until then. All right. So let's see what we're getting with. All right. Where's the energy? Shoot, this is a lot of cards. All right. Put these back and we'll get some more. Please, one card at a time, please. Thank you, Spirit. Hey y'all, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I'm doing the energy reading before I get off of here. And really, this is upside down. I'm gonna keep that in the reverse. Okay, I'm gonna just do 3 more. And that was okay. That was 4. So y'all got a little extra. All right. See, I pull out all these cards and I think I have enough space, and then I'm like, I gotta do them in a different position because this low-key blowing me. But thank you guys for joining. Hey Nai. All right. All right, so I'm about to go read this energy for you guys really quick. So right now, what I'm getting is that we need to stay optimistic in our endeavors because patience is still needed in what we need to do. We cannot continue to overthink, but we do need to pay attention to the red flags. Once you see a red flag, then that's when you can address it. But you need to understand that nobody's perfect. So love your shadow. Love your dark side. Accept the work and the flaws in yourself so you can learn to accept others. And then we have self-indulgence in the reverse. So this is self-worth, value, time to heal, shadow work, self-appreciation. So we need to make sure with our shadow, we're doing that self-work. We're doing that shadow work. We're taking the time that we are here to heal. Because sometimes when we overthink, it'll cause us to feel like we can't do these things. We need to go towards more healthy choices, self-love, self-care, making ourselves happier in life. Because with this, we're going to draw in our abundance. Your abundance is coming to you once you continue to draw in healthy choices. It takes a positive mindset to manifest. It takes gratitude and bliss to get your blessings. And once you understand that, you will begin to rise like the phoenix. When you rise like the phoenix, that means you're coming back from where you used to be and you're starting over, you're starting fresh, and you're becoming a whole new person. You're no longer who you used to be. Now you're somebody new. You're forgiving and releasing the things that happened in your past, so it no longer holds you back, so that you can ascend, so that you can become the person that you want to be. How many times have we look back in our lives and we say, dang, we wish we never did that? But you want to know something? Everything you do is so that you can be who you are today, tomorrow, and going further into the future. We're no longer going to sabotage our life. We're no longer going to be worried and persistent about things that we need to repair. We're no longer going to be mirroring these things that we are addicted to. We're going to leave these things that we're addicted to in the past. And I'm going to keep on going. Hold on, wait, because I'm feeling like we got this going real quick. Hold on. We're no longer going to be codependent and obsessed and constrained on things that we cannot control. We're not going to no longer have these emotional blocks on our lives. We're going to continue to leave our fears behind because we know that these things cannot keep us. We know that these things are not going to keep us binded to them. We're going to continue living our lives, and we're going to continue doing what we need to do so that we can flourish. And then we're going to be honest with ourselves. When you're honest with yourself, that's when things start working better. You know, a lot of the times we keep things secret. Like, we don't say things to people about things because we are ashamed. And there's no need to be ashamed about anything, because there's no shame in learning from life. Everybody learns in life. And we all need to learn to let go of control, because we can't control anything. And we know anything. We know who controls everything. And that's God. God got control over everything. He has the steps. He knows what's supposed to happen next. So anything that you feel like is happening to you, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. There's a reason that all of these things are happening, because there's a bigger journey for you. There's a bigger thing that we need to be, there's something bigger that we need to be prepared for, and it's codependency. We need to be understanding that we cannot control anything. We only can control ourselves. We cannot control anything. So we need to stop letting addictive behaviors control our lives. And addictive behaviors doesn't mean like you're addicted to substances. It can be addicted to gossiping. It could be addicted to hanging out with friends. It could be addicted to anything that's not for your highest good. So you want to make sure that when we're being in our authentic selves, that our authentic selves is not being challenged by things like codependency, things that are going to keep us stuck and stagnant, like the need of control. Sometimes we need to take a chance, take the risk, and take a gamble on things and see what we need to do so that we can move forward. Oh, these ones flew out my hand. Yes, take a gamble, take a risk, free yourself. Understand that you have the ability to manifest anything that you want in your life. You don't need to let people hold you back, because the things that people are doing, they're only trying to keep you small. They want you to feel like you don't have these abilities. They want you to feel like you're not big enough to do this. They want you to feel like you will never make it, but you will. And I know you will. If you continue to strive for it, you continue to let go of these things that are holding you back, you're going to manifest your abundance. You're going to come back like the phoenix. You're going to rise up. These healthy choices that you're now starting to do are going to shape your life. You know, they say, whatever you're thinking about right now, whatever you're doing right now, is going to be the script that writes for your movie. Your next scene of your movie is going to come from whatever you're thinking about right now. So the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking for us to end these cycles so that we can continue to flourish and do the things that we need to do so we can get to where we need to get to. Let me see you guys put in the comments, like, what are you guys trying to do today? Like, what energy you guys in? Are we leaving these things in the past or not? Because yeah, clearly we're seeing that these things are just a perception. It's a self-sabotage. It's us living in our ego. It's us living in fear and frustrations, feeling like we cannot achieve the things that we want to achieve. But you know what? It doesn't take much. All it takes is you wanting to do it. All it takes is a vision. Once you have that vision, once you have that goal, you can manifest it. You have to take the steps, and you have to pay attention to the signs, because sometimes we might miss the signs when something is meant for us. Something could be right there in front of us and meant for us to be flourishing. It could be meant for us to be taking advantage of it in a good way, and we don't see it because we cannot see the good in it. So make sure that you put yourself first and recognize the happiness that you want to have within yourself. Because if you're not understanding of what you actually truly want, then you'll never be able to get there. We need to have the awareness that what we want is the things that we need to be paying attention to. Do not put your attention into things that are not going to make your life better. And trust in the divine timing, because God will always make a way. You got to be patient and understand that things are unfolding for the best, and it's going to be worth the wait. Oh, all right. Let's get one card at a time, please, Spirit. All right, and with that, trusting in the divine timing, trusting in God, we get gratitude. You get the happiness. You get the understanding that you need to be grateful and be confident in the things that you already have. Be happy for the things that you have and the people that you have in your life right now. Who do you have that you can call your friend? Who can keep you up when you're down? Who are these people that you could call and tell them that, hey, I have a secret and I need to get it out? Who are these people? Keep these lighthearted exchanges. Keep finding out that there's going to be light and healing going forward, going closer to your abundance every single time. Look at this. It went from you paying attention but not paying attention. You want to make sure you have that awareness, but you don't have to keep yourself stuck. Just like what we were talking about right here. They've been manipulating us since we were younger. They've been telling us we're living lives that we're not even supposed to be living since we were a kid. So don't let anything in this exact moment stop you from what you got going for your future, because your future is bright. Your future has a lot coming. Hold on. Let's see. We're cutting ties. We're leaving behind the old and we're coming in with the new. It's like, it says, cutting odd ties, receive what you need, progressing and arriving. That is just proof right there, and I really can't make it up. Like, you are moving forward into a time where nobody can no longer bring you back and hold you back and hold you down. Nobody can keep you in any spot still. You're going to continue to flourish every step of the way. Look at this, on the bottom of the deck, when you take a leap of faith. All it takes is you taking that leap of faith, and you'll be able to get to any point that you need to. Know that we are not stuck in the matrix anymore. Now that we know that they're trying to stop us and keep us keep us small, then you know that there's nothing stopping you at this moment. Whatever you want to do, that is in your best intent, that's in your highest good, I know you can get it done. I know it right now. I know it's a fact. See, that's a lot of cards, Spooky. Let's try one at a time, please, Spirit. Thank you. The Golden Mirror. So it says narcissist, love bombing, self-absorbed, one-sided. So we're letting go of these things. Look at right before that, cutting times, moving on, and receiving what we really need. We're leaving these things behind. People who only care about themselves. People who only want to give you love when they get love out of it. We're leaving behind people who are just concerned about themselves, who are only giving one-sided relationships. They're not keeping you in your best, highest vibration. They're doing things to not have you be present, and they want to stop your faith. But you're going to be present. You're going to continue to have faith in yourself, in your dreams, in your goals, and your aspirations, because until they come and take you off this earth, they do not have nothing that can stop you from getting to where you need to get to. And can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Until they take you off this earth, what are they going to do? Nothing. And that's going to be a shock to them, because they thought that they could stop you. What was that song? Oh, it's a Lil Wayne song. He goes, they try to stop me. Wait, no, they can't stop me. But even if they stop me, and he's like, that song is what I think of when I think of this. Like, because even if you did stop me, that would be an optimistic idea. That'd be something that you would really, really be trying hard for. You'd be really pulling at strings, gasping for it. Like the Great Gatsby. You feel me? That's a reach. Yes, that's a big reach. Because now you know that you guys are on different paths. And everything that you have coming to it for you is for you. It's not for anybody else. Oh my God. Should I keep going? I'm going to just do one more. One more card. But after this, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to put this recap on YouTube. We spoke about all of the reasons why and how they're manipulating us and how they've been manipulating us since birth. Follow me on TikTok and on Instagram, KAS the Bestie. Also, follow me, subscribe to me on YouTube, KAS the Bestie as well. I got more live videos coming with more information to give you guys. Thank you guys for all the likes. We got 1.9K likes in this. Thank you. And I love you guys so much for being very supportive. You guys interested in sending any donations or supporting the channel. KAS the Bestie is the Cash App. Thank you guys so much. And this is the last card we're going to be doing for today. And I actually might go on later. If you guys want, I can go in and do a little energy pulling for you guys. And if I have the time, because I am going to be starting my own little YouTube channel where I'm going to be doing more oracle card readings, and you guys can follow that, but you're gonna have to stay tuned because it's not out yet. So follow me, but don't follow me. So the last one would be, we're on different paths. They'd have an optimistic view. If they were to try and change anything in your life, if they were trying to stop you, they brought a big shock to themselves that they're not going to be able to do that. But now we're grounding our energy. We're grounding our energy. We're getting stability, security, performance, growth, and endurance. And it's just like back to what I was saying about the whole manipulation thing. Once you find out what they're doing, once you are aware, they can no longer pull that wool over your eyes. Once you stand for something, you cannot fall for anything. And you will not fall for anything, because we know we're going to keep track and we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. That's why you're going to follow KAS the Bestie right now, so that we can keep on stopping people from trying to commit spiritual warfare. They don't call it spiritual warfare on this plane. They call it people being narcissists. They call it manipulating. They call it all of that. But on the spiritual side, it's called spiritual warfare. When people are trying to affect your subconscious without you knowing, when people are trying to affect what you do without telling you directly anything, that is spiritual warfare. They're coming for you on a subconscious base. So once we continue to recognize that, we'll be able to stop these people dead in their tracks. They think they're doing magic against us by gossiping, doing black magic, by telling people our secrets and things like that. No. You gotta own it. We owning our secrets. We're owning our past. Nobody's holding us back. Nobody is making us feel like anything that we went through is going to keep us in the same spot. Yeah, when I had a kid young, and I don't have my child's father in her life, and I don't feel ashamed about that, because I know that I grew about that. And my daughter lives a beautiful life. My daughter is very happy. My daughter is blessed. So know that when you are going through things, it's not blessed. So know that when you are going through things, it's not going to be every instant. We'll get through it, and it will change. So know now that you know. And KAS the Bestie will never let you guys be not in the know. I will always keep you guys in the know. So stay tuned. Follow me. Like, and thank you guys.